All right. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the podcast. Today is an episode I'm very excited about. It's called Dating the Drummer. I've known a couple, there's that old phrase, don't date the drummer. And it's always made me laugh because all of the drummers I know are in committed relationships for many years, with the exception of one or two. Let's be real. I played I played drums in high school and college, and so speaking of college, this is an old roommate of mine, James Hilton. He, I think he's just really good at drums. Okay, and this is my second show with no notes, so you can probably tell. But he's great at drums. He works in IT now, I believe, and just has nice hobbies. And he's been dating his girlfriend for a very long time, and that's really cool. They're really nice together. I love running into them in town. I usually see them in the Danbury area. And also, James Hilton worked at Burgerittoville, which is a very famous Connecticut eatery right next to a very famous comic book store. So I'm going to ask him a little bit about that. So it's not all romance, okay? There's going to be some gritty stuff in here. So here we go. Let's bring him out. Hey,
Hey man, good to see you.
good to see you, man. Nice setup there. That looks awesome.
Oh, thank you. It's
Right
not too
on.
bad.
All right, so I sort of did an intro for you. I hope it's audible. Actually, I like sort of fell into my little mumble routine. But basically, we went to Western Connecticut State University together. Were you actually majoring in percussion, or
No, I started out majoring in secondary education for mathematics and changed that to just mathematics and then picked up a degree in management information systems with a focus on information security.
right, right? That's awesome, man. That's probably so that's definitely kept you busy through the pandemic and stuff like that.
Oh yeah. I can't complain at all. To be honest, I'm very lucky to be where I am at this point in my life, and I'm very grateful for it.
Right on, man. I hear that. I support it, and it's the people who are in those lucky positions. It's great because then they can also share their cat photos and their pet photos as well.
Absolutely.
That's terrific, man. So obviously now some people are considering moving over to IT. So what are three things you recommend for a little starter pack? Right on.
It depends what section of IT you really want to go into. I mean, at the end of the day, having a good base foundation of knowledge, and for me, that came from a combination of lots and lots and lots of home IT kind of work, where setting up computers for people, printers, building computers came shortly thereafter, and also doing small business IT for 5 years. That really gave me the broad base of information you need to be successful in this field because there's so much to it. And I
Right.
mean, now I focus on information security. That's kind of my deal at this point.
Mhm.
But um, I've done all kinds of stuff in IT.
So what's uh just one more question on this. What's like a small business sort of IT problem you've run into over and over again?
Oh, it could be anything from why is my computer crashing to my printer doesn't work to we have no internet help to there's that list is we could sit here and
Yeah.
talk through that list for the next hour of all of the regular little tiny issues that you could run into doing small business IT.
All right, yeah, maybe another time. That's cool though, man. So I told everybody the episode is called Dating the Drummer. So I'm not gonna dig too deep, you're in a safe space.
All
But
good, man. Dig as hard as you want.
yeah, there's that phrase, don't date the drummer. But here you are, you've been in a relationship, I don't know how long.
So
Do you even
what
know?
it's
That's hilarious.
2021.
Wait, what?
It's 2021. We started dating January my junior year in high school. So
Wow.
is that right? 14 years? I should
Wow.
probably know that offhand. I might get smacked if
That's funny, man. I doubt
smacked
it.
lightly, gently smacked.
Yeah, nice. That's wild, man. So yeah, so I'm not a relationship expert, but it really fascinates me sort of how people can figure out how to gel like that. So especially at an early age. So I mean, at the same time, you don't want to like some in that situation, you don't even really want to comment on it because it's like, well, they're doing well. I'm not gonna like poke around, but like, what are how do you sort of keep things even keel? I guess would be my first question.
I mean, Victoria is my best friend at the end of the day. And that's how it started, and that's how it's always going to be. And that's how we have been successful for so long is she's like my best friend. And on top of that, it's all communication, any kind of relationship, whether it's, an intimate relationship, boyfriend, girlfriend, wife, husband, whatever,
Yeah,
um, friendships, it all comes down to really communication and being able to successfully navigate and work through whatever issues you come across. And I'm very lucky because Victoria is very good at that, and also we're good at reading each other as that's happening. And I think that all stems out of just our friendship where it all started. Neither of us, when we met, I think, were looking for a relationship. At the time, I believe I'd just gotten out of a pretty ugly one.
wow,
And it just clicked. And, you know, every day we're just, at the end of the day, we're best friends still. And that's what makes it work.
wow, man, that's incredible. I wish I'd done. Did you ever have to go to a book, anything like that? Did you ever like pick up a book on like like 5 ways to be in love or something like that? And you're like, oh, I guess I'll get this.
None of those. Both of us had a real deep interest in psychology when we were younger, though. So through high school and college, we read a lot of various styles of psychology books that were really more about the human mind, connecting, communication, just analyzing the psychology of behavior. Um, Victoria is remarkable at a lot of this stuff. Uh, she has a minor in psychology, and she was going to college for it for a bit until we both wound up going into computers. But have I read a specific book on anything like that? No, but I've read a lot of psychology books, um, just because it always fascinated me, and I think that
Right.
has definitely helped the communication and just knowing how to not necessarily read people, but play, work together.
Yeah. Right on. Wow. So is it really like uh one person's like, hey, you're kind of doing this, and the other one's like, yeah, you're right, I am kind of doing that. Or
Uh Sometimes, yes, sometimes it's, hey, you're doing this, and then it's in the back of your head you're going, no, I'm not, asshole. And then an hour later you come back to it like, all right, you were correct. I'm doing this. I'm sorry. That was atrocious and you don't deserve that. But you know what I mean? Like human
that's
nature, you're gonna have that like, oh yeah, asshole moment, like kind of
yeah, that's that's a really mature thing to admit, man. If if people have watched more than one episode, I am actually often saying that's a mature thing to say, and I really mean it. It's like, like
I appreciate it.
sometimes I'm really not expecting such a good answer, to be honest with you. That's incredible, man. Um, yeah, cool. So you read psychology books. What like fascinated you in particular? Like, do you remember a good line or something that you always sort of have?
Not any particular line that I can think of. Um, it's been so long since I read any of these books. I mean, I believe they're probably all still on a bookcase in my living room upstairs. To be honest with you, because both of us have that kind of fascination with books and have maintained like mini libraries over the years. Um, but I can't think of a single line or any single piece of advice. And that's the thing about psychology that, at least to me, studying psychology, it's no one thing. It's
Yeah,
the culmination of all of the little tiny things.
right.
Yeah, and that plays across everything in life. But
Big time. We have like a kind of like finite list of what emotions that we possess, when in reality, there's probably like thousands of different emotions that a person can have.
yep,
Yeah, right.
absolutely. No, absolutely. It's, people are fascinating, and I think that's what got me interested in psychology initially when I was younger. People are fascinating, and I'm very lucky to have grown up around a lot of really cool, interesting people. Um, through my parents, through my connections, through the things I got to do as a kid growing up. Um, and every day now, as I said, I'm incredibly fortunate to be where I am so that I can do all the things I want to do and make all these cool connections. But
Right,
people are fascinating at the end of the day. And it's interesting to learn more about the way you think, about the way others think,
right.
why, what, it's just cool to me. It always has been. And that plays a lot actually into my relationship dynamic. And you asked a minute ago any like single line or thought and I was thinking about it, and I think the one thing, especially as it relates to relationships, that I walked away with from all my psychological any reading I've done, any kind of like just life lessons through psychology, that mental notes, is walk away and come back to it, and don't be afraid to be wrong. I mean,
Wow.
it doesn't sound, it's not horribly complex or enlightening, but it's true.
Yeah, both of those are tough for me. So, good call, man. I'll keep that in mind. Uh, walk away, be wrong. Rough.
I
That's a real
I
truth bomb, man.
It
Get
is it is, but at the end of the day, like I say this in conversation all the time, is I'd love to be wrong and to learn something, because every interaction I want to,
wow,
if you
wow,
get
man.
if you have a conversation with somebody
Uh,
or an interaction with somebody, you can always grow and learn from that somehow.
whoa.
And
I'm glad you came out for this, man. This is great. This is
man,
awesome. All
man,
right.
thank you for having me. This is awesome. Yeah, it's so
It
good to
is,
see you.
right? Yeah, it's great to see you too, man. All right, so this is all in Connecticut, by the way. I hope I started with that. Um, but yeah, all right, let's get into the music a little bit because I'm trying to get more music on the show, BT Dubs. If you've got any acoustic guitar player friends, anything like that. So when did you start playing drums?
I think seriously in elementary school, but the first time I ever held drumsticks, I was like 4 years old.
Right,
I grew up in a very musical family. I'm very lucky to have had that my whole life. It's definitely shaped, who I am and the things I like to do. And a lot of my, life has revolved around music since as far back as I could possibly remember.
right.
And yeah, I'm very fortunate in that because a lot of people get into music and they don't have that. You know, they may or may not have supportive parents, but very few people have. You know, I grew up. My dad's a musician. My mom's a musician.
Uh,
Like,
what did they play?
um, so my dad primarily plays piano at this point, but he can play at least a little bit of just about anything you put in his hands if you give him long enough to like mess with it. He's one of those guys who's just absolutely savant-esque.
Right,
Um,
right on.
he's also a studio guy, which is, you know, I
Like
know.
a like a session recording musician.
No. Like, he's worked in, built. I mean, yeah, recorded, played at, but he's done all that at studios.
Wow.
I grew up my whole life going to music studios, uh, all over the place.
No way. Oh,
Yep.
cool. So, what about oh, you know what? So there was allegedly there's a like a sort of I don't even know if it's secret actually. There's a recording studio near Toad's place in New Haven, right?
I know of a couple in New Haven by reputation, but none that I've been to.
Got it. What's was there a is there a studio visit memory that stands out?
A lot of things that I have pictures of and memories of because so when my dad was in studios, it was mainly at the earlier parts of my life.
Hmm.
He has been playing on tour live music and working in his boss's home studio for many years. But before that, he was working a lot more in studios with other artists. Um, I think the one that I actually remember that
Okay.
stands out very vividly is my dad was working with Duran Duran in England.
Wow.
Uh,
No way. Oh shoot, you froze, buddy. 1 second.
it's pretty wild, man.
Yeah, it is
Oop.
wild. All right, you're back. You're back.
Okay, cool. Sorry, man. My internet connection is not always the best.
That's all right. We've been doing good so far. Duran
But
Duran?
yeah, so he was recording an album with Duran Duran in the early 2000s. I'd have to even look up which album. It would take me a second. But I got to go spend like a week in London and spend some time in the studio with him and the rest of my family and the guys in Duran Duran, and they're amazing human beings. But there's one specific memory of hanging out with Simon Le Bon, the lead singer of Duran Duran, in like the studio lobby.
Uh-huh.
Um, he just hanging out in the couch talking, and I think I was young. I was 12, 13, something pretty young.
Right.
And he was so incredibly patient and so much fun to talk to as a young person and so cool to me and my whole family. Um, I just that experience sticks in my mind. Um, in like, and it always will. You know, I have pictures of other experiences that from when I was like, you know, really little,
Mhm.
you know, 2, 3, 4, 5 years old that I don't have like very vivid, detailed memory of because I was so young. I have pictures that help remind me a little bit and I can remember certain things, but I think that's the one that stands out the most probably.
Wow, man. Great story. Excellent. Very cool. Then you came back to the States, which is great. Great for us here in Connecticut. And so
I was only there for a week.
right. No, I know, I know.
It's hard for me to nail down any one band or even genre because I grew up around so much different
Right.
music and I, you know,
Oh man.
all of my experience comes from such a wide range of different types of music that it's kind of difficult for me to nail down one specific even set of bands that
Yeah.
I mean, I grew up listening to so much good music, and
Yeah.
being just engulfed in it, because that's what my dad was doing all the time, and I got to very luckily spend as much time as I did with him, going to places, going to studios, going to concerts. Um,
Right.
it it's tough for me. I a lot of my personal playing really stems from like jazz and funk, and then
Okay.
I've layered punk rock and metal and rock and roll and so everything everything else on top of that brought me to how I play now, and what I'm doing now. But yeah,
Wow.
I can't think of one or even a set.
That's okay, man. That's a good answer. You really sort of vocalized that well. I am curious though, like so you kind of like musicians have to sort of pick their projects, right? You can't do everything, unfortunately.
Yep.
So so like where are you at now? Like what genre are you playing? Yeah, we'll start there.
So I'm actively in two projects. Well, kind of three projects right now. Uh, Two that are working. One was playing live in the area in Connecticut,
Right,
and the other is a project I joined right before COVID started.
right.
Um, the one that I've been playing with is how to describe it. It's don't mind if do you mind if I plug a little bit here?
That's like yeah, I don't mind. I don't mind at all.
Okay,
Plug,
cool.
plug. Yeah, you
So
can send me links if you want. I'll put them right on the page.
okay, awesome, cool. Yeah, I
Yeah,
will do that definitely. So at least this band I'm in, it's called the Midnight Suns. We're out of New Haven, Connecticut.
cool.
Uh, Amazing bunch of human beings. That's kind of like rock and roll, hard rock, a little bit of punk rock influence, a little bit of metal influence sometimes. It's a pretty broad spectrum of what we do in like the rock and roll music space. I wouldn't, it's definitely not metal. Do we have songs that have some like heavy parts in it? Absolutely. We have some heavy songs, but we also have, you know, lighter stuff, and
Yeah,
that's
man.
a lot of fun. The other band I'm in, the one that I joined uh kind of right before COVID, maybe a couple months before COVID hit, and we all went into lockdown, and then kind of put a kibosh on most of that growth for a while.
Yeah,
And is a band called No Honor Among Thieves. Um,
good name.
yeah, that is a kind of hardcore metal with some like progressive influence. It's very interesting music and challenging music. It's a lot of fun for everybody in the band. Um, and then the third project is a side project with one of the guitarists in the Midnight Suns. Uh, Not really. I mean, we're just getting started, but it's just a duet. It's drum. It's two of us. He's playing the guitar and bass part on a bass guitar run through a really cool setup that allows him to play both bass and guitar on the same instrument simultaneously with various effects and
Wow.
amplifiers. And I'm playing drums and he sings. And it's a really cool project. And we'll get that off the ground, once we can, basically.
Yeah, so he's literally playing guitar and bass at the same time?
On a bass, actually. He's
Whoa.
got a 4-string bass. There are no recordings for this yet, and that's why I'm not, name dropping or plugging. There's no YouTube channel to send you to. There's nothing out there at this point. There will
Wow.
be eventually,
Wow.
um, and that'll probably, it's a really cool idea, and we're still working it out and working out the kinks and trying to figure out exactly how it's going to go and how it's going to work. But we generally have an idea of where we want to go with it, and I'm kind of my role in the project is backup for him. It's really his solo project.
Right.
Um, so if I can't make something, there'll be a couple other drummers that we all kind of will necessarily will work it out to,
Right.
if I can't make it, someone else will fill in or something. But it's his solo project. Um, and it's just fascinating music. The way he pulls it
Yeah.
off is so cool.
Well, thanks for the update, man. Is it okay if I publish this?
Yeah, absolutely.
I was
Absolutely.
because I was gonna put this out in like a couple days. So I figured I should ask. That's incredible, man. I can't wait to hear more about it. You know,
Yeah, and I'll send you the link to my personal YouTube page where I've got drum videos, and then the Midnight Suns,
yeah,
at the Midnight Suns CT on Instagram, or it might be the Midnight Suns CT on Facebook too, which I should know that, but
that's okay, man. That's why we got the little writing next to the video.
absolutely, I'll
Um, but
get you some links.
but
And
yeah, thanks very much, man. And yeah, if you're just joining us, I'm at Instagram at HiPod HAIPOD_4. And thanks very much for watching. This is super fun. Let's oh, okay, so I had one more question about the music genre stuff. Sort of I think a lot of artists, especially like our age and younger, they have these like, I guess that happens at any age. You get into these like gaps where you're sort of looking for the next thing, you know, and you're kind of like waiting for the thought to arrive, really, you know. And
mm,
it's sort of weird how it comes about. Like, you know, you're sort of like, I think maybe I want to play funk again, right? Like maybe I want to do blues this time and see what that's like, right? And so then 2 or 3 months later, you're kind of sort of maybe in a blues band or something like that, right?
yeah.
Um, do you remember a time like that where it either happened for you or the kind of, the the sands of time sent you another way?
That kind of happened with No Honor Among Thieves, the metal
Mm.
band I'm in. I hadn't been playing metal live for quite a while. I used to play metal in high school, played some metal in college, played a lot of pop punk and punk rock and through college, and then
That wasn't so bad, right? The pop punk phase, looking back, it's
I
kind
grew
of
up
fun.
on it, man. It's fun.
Yeah, it's fun.
And it's fun to play, and I do live streams occasionally on Twitch of just I'll throw up Spotify and live stream playing the songs and talk to people, and I play
Right
a lot of
on.
pop punk still.
Cool, cool.
But yeah, the metal band, I hadn't really been playing any metal for quite some time. Like I'd sit down once in a while and try and like just keep my chops up, but I wasn't seriously practicing like heavy music, fast metal, heavy metal, anything like that.
Right.
And that band just kind of I started getting back into playing metal again, trying to get my speed back, trying to get, consistency back to where I was when I was playing metal every day. And about a month into that, this opportunity just showed up at my door, and
Right.
it was unbelievably timed because it's like, well, this is perfect. I've been wanting to do this, and now
Yeah.
it's happening. Like it
Right.
just materialized.
That's awesome, man. That's No Honor Among Thieves. Very cool. All right. So, all right. And then what about touring? What's the longest tour you've done with the most dates? Farthest reach, I guess.
So I haven't had the opportunity to do any kind of big touring like that with multiple dates scheduled. I've played
Right.
shows all over Connecticut.
Right.
Um, I think, yeah, I think it's really only been in venues in Connecticut at this point.
That's all
Uh,
good, man. There's
and we're
plenty to do here.
Oh yeah, there's tons of great venues. Uh, we have a
Yeah.
lot of really good musical spots, and a lot of them are forgotten about, and um, they're struggling right now. And the entire music community is pulling for them, and it's been really cool to see the support coming out of the music community and how the venues have evolved because they were such great venues. Before we couldn't go use them, and now they've found ways to continue to do their thing. whether it's live streaming or recording or whatever.
Yeah, it's a great point, man. You know, honestly, if you are a music venue, please say hello. Love to support you any way we can, definitely. Um, I mean, New Haven, you know, all the great places in New Haven. It goes
Yep.
on for miles. We got Toad's Place, got the State House, we got Cafe 9, and you know, I wish I could mention all the spots and all the 172 towns in provinces in Connecticut, but there's a really famous one that's actually known for championing original music. I heard about it just before quarantine, and now I can't remember it. Which, you know, thanks, brain. Um,
You'll think of it in 2 minutes. It's all good.
yeah, thinking. Speaking, I'm not gonna succeed. But speaking of things in 2 minutes, it's always one of my favorite games to come up with band names that are never gonna exist. So I was thinking we could just like try and come up with some fun band names real quick.
Oh man. Okay.
It's pressure, right?
It
All
is.
right, so imagine you're about to start a funk band, right?
Mhm.
What are you gonna call it?
Maxim.
Maxim?
Yeah,
Maxim?
absolutely. I don't know if it exists or not. I just always thought it'd be a cool funk band name.
That's so crazy, man. The first thing that came to my mind was Saucy Mistress.
Okay, okay.
Yeah, right? Okay. What about Soul?
The Bleeding Hearts. It's got to feel it. You got to feel that soul.
That is so good. I literally forgot mine. That was so good. The Bleeding Hearts. All right. What about rock R&B mix? Which there's actually a word for that genre, but I can't remember it.
Fusion kind of stuff. Or that's kind of more
Yeah,
jazz rock fusion. Um,
yeah, jazz rock R&B fusion.
See, should I be coming up with ridiculous ones or ones that I would probably use?
I would say probably use, but you can throw in a ridiculous one too.
Okay. Well, for that kind of fusion music, like the Infinity Project or something like that, something with infinity, something encompassing that is, boundless.
Yeah. Doesn't the Infinity Project like definitely exist? It's got it.
Probably. I have no
Yeah.
idea what it is. I
Yeah.
could be referencing something atrocious. It's true. That's entirely
Yeah.
possible. But
That's hilarious. That's totally possible.
it's one of the things you have to think about when you're coming up with band names is that you have to look up everything because you can be like, oh, that's super cool, and find out it's something absolutely horrendous that already exists that's like really bad. And you're like, ooh, no, we can't.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I actually had it's weird, like I just kind of so it's called like this podcast is called the Hear About It podcast or Hear About It podcast. And so I got the Gmail. I got the Gmail for it, which is a real boon. And I really didn't have any other ideas. That the other day I was thinking about Scratch the Surface.
I like
And
that.
that's good, right?
I like that.
But I'm pretty deep in this now. I'm on like episode like 16. This is the 16th episode.
Congratulations. That's awesome, man. Good for you. I
Hey,
I would I would keep it. I like it.
I like it too. Yeah,
And it sticks. You're gonna remember that, the Hear
dude,
About It podcast.
you heard it here first. People, it sticks. Oh man. Speaking of sticks, this isn't a good segue at all. Actually, this is not even close. But I was like maybe because it stuck around something like that. But you worked at Burgerittoville, and that place is phenomenal. Like, what can you say? So I know it's harder when you've seen like the belly of the beast of anything. But what were the top orders when you were there? Like, I'm making this again. I mean, they're all burgeritos.
But well, no, there's a million other burritos also, but the
Right.
burgerito was the most popular one by far.
Oh, really?
Oh yeah, it's simple to the point. It's exactly what it reports to be. Everybody's got to try the burgerito. Everyone's got to know what it is.
It's true.
Uh, so that was the most common.
It's truly a sacred meal. Uh, and it's crazy. You go into Burgerittoville and they've got the write up, literally how the guy like came up with it, this invention.
Yep.
Uh, it's crazy to be close to something so that's going to be remembered by time.
It is. It they were really good to me and they were really good people. I don't know if you've been in there recently. They've changed the whole place around a lot. They've done a bunch of big upgrades in that building and I'm really happy for them.
I
Yeah,
love
absolutely.
Burgerittoville. I'm like I'm going. I've been there so many times this past summer. This coming summer, I will be there even more times. I enjoy the steakerito and the burgerito, and I get the monkey shake, the monkey milkshake, like every time. What about shakes? Do you know which milkshake went over the best?
I have no idea. I don't remember. That was a while ago.
Yeah,
I think just plain chocolate shakes, they just went like crazy.
word, word.
Can't
All
you
right,
can't go
so
wrong.
yeah, and so right next to Burgeritoville is Cave Comics.
hmm
Did you go in there and pick up some books? Do you remember them?
So I'm not a comic book fan. I appreciate them, but I just was never able to get into it.
Sure.
Um, I used to play
I'm
a
not
lot of
offended.
Magic the Gathering. No, yeah, my deal over there was Magic the Gathering and Warhammer 40K.
Oh yeah, Warhammer. I need I don't know anything about Warhammer, but I was curious about it. Is that a board like a journey adventure game? Or is
It's
it a
a strategy battle game is the easiest way I can think about it. You have your army, they have their armies, and you have to fight. And sometimes, a lot of times, there are objectives where you've got, some scenario that you're fighting through. Um, a lot of dice rolling, a lot of building and painting little tiny miniatures. I was always atrocious at painting them. Um,
oh that's funny.
I had friends who were very good at it, and I actually have models over that way somewhere that my friends painted for me. They're the only ones I have left. I got rid of a lot of that stuff over the years, but
Yeah, I hear
um,
you, man.
it was a lot of fun.
Right on, man. Very cool. Yeah, I got to pare down on the books to be honest. It's out of control with the books. You know, I got like two I know, but still. What about records? Do you collect records?
Yes, a lot of
Yeah,
records. I have quite a bit of vinyl. It's true.
right
Guilty as
on, man.
charged.
All right. Well, like, what was a good find? A good rare record find.
I have found a bunch of cool old Zeppelin records over time, and that's music that is timeless. And I don't know how rare they are. I don't know how hard they are to find. There've been billions of copies of them printed, pressed. Um, I don't- um, rare
So
and hard to
moved.
find.
I'm so moved right now. Talking about Led Zeppelin, they're great band. Great band.
Yes, they are.
Yeah.
If
So
you've never seen the London concert when they got back together, they released a DVD of it. I suggest it if you're into that kind of music.
I
It's phenomenal.
I forgot they released the DVD of it. That sounds perfect. And talking to a drummer, I mean, John Bonham himself. Apparently he was sampled a lot for hip hop beats, which is so cool.
Yeah.
Um, I wish I kind of knew uh, the people who borrowed his beats off the top of my head, but I do not. Anyway, so I guess we'll have to close this up soon, man. But man, what cool info! Very fun. You did a great job. And so I guess my last question is in the cooking realm, you got to make dinner every night. What are you working on? What are you experimenting with? What kind of like keeps you going when you got to make a quick lunch meal?
I cook a lot of very basic foods in bulk.
Nice.
I'm big on my barbecue. I'm not completely
Nice.
useless in the kitchen, but I'm
Right.
much better on a barbecue. Um,
Nice.
so I grill anything that I could get to sit in a barbecue. I'll try and grill it. Um, I cook a lot of like steaks and just chicken breast seasoning different ways. And
Right.
for quick food, yeah, I mean, bowl of chili. I love cooking chilies. It takes some
Chili.
time, but the
Yeah.
payout's huge.
Chili's great. Definitely. Yeah. 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 Chili kept me going in college actually for dorm life. Yeah. There's lots of chili, lots of eggs, lots of what was the other thing? Something pasta. Duh. Yeah. Chili, eggs, pasta. Pretty much handled it.
Yep.
Um, so that's great, man. All right. So what was like the highlight barbecue meal this summer?
We did well actually I helped with it. Um Victoria was kind enough to do the complicated portion. We made ribs and grilled vegetables for my birthday.
Right on.
And
When's your birthday?
September 14th.
Nice. Kind of the end of summer, sort of.
Yeah, so it's perfect out. It was beautiful, and so I got to, we lit the barbecue, and I finished the ribs in the barbecue, and that was that and the vegetables, and was just perfect.
That's the best case scenario too, when you get to just like guest star on a meal, You're not
Yeah,
like you don't really have to watch that much. You just look over and just like throw some salts on. That's perfect, man.
I did the easy part.
Way to be.
I can live with it.
Yeah, right. All right, man. Man, that was fun. Nice job, man. That was cool.
Thank
Really
you, man.
cool.
Thank you so much for having me. This was a blast, and it's so good to see you. I miss you. It's been way too long.
Oh man, you're the best, man. I miss you too. It has been too long. We'll figure it out once with this vaccine rollout and everything like that. Um, wow. Excellent, man. And yeah, we'll do something, and we'll find a way to have you back on here as well.
Sounds
So,
good.
any shout outs you want to throw out before we sign off here?
I mean, I can never thank my lovely girlfriend enough for putting up with me and giving helping me achieve this space because I couldn't have done it without her. All my bandmates, they're amazing human beings. The Midnight Suns, awesome guys, so much fun to hang out with. No Honor Among Thieves, amazing human beings as well. Just I I couldn't be luckier with the people in my life. So there's too many to list one at a time, but anybody who's in my life and who I have the pleasure of being around, I appreciate all of you. And Will, I appreciate you, man. Thank you so much for having me on, and absolutely wish you and your family super well for the remainder of this pandemic, and hopefully we'll see each other soon and I can give you a hug.
Well, thank you for officially busting the myth of the "don't date the drummer" phrase. I might write you a card for Valentine's Day, man. This is not very sweet, man. Great sentiments. Yeah, if so ladies, try a drummer. They're better, they've come around, I guess.
We're not
But
all bad.
we're, we're not all bad. And
We show up on time. It's wonderful. We got that whole timing thing down.
yeah, yeah, that's a very unknown thing. It's like the timing is on, it's on point. Right on, man. Fucking A. That was so fun. This was so good.
Hell yeah,
Um,
man.
excellent. All right. So I guess we'll leave them with that. Thanks very much, James. Excellent.
Much love, man.
Peace, bro.
Peace.